Alexandra, we're talking about the campfire in Butte County, and how did you learn that your house was in danger?
By some miracle, last Friday, my husband, Ed, and our friends Roseanne and Tom Lampkin decided to give it a shot to go up there. And it was kind of it was like a lot of fast talking, a lot of runaround between the sheriff's office and the police. To make a long story short, they finally gave us a police escort. We pleaded animals, we pleaded the truth, securing property. We'd heard a rumor that our house was still standing from some of the boys that were like some of the heroes up in Helltown saving their properties, the McCords and the Rockas and Sisks. And so we wanted to go up there. They actually let us, they gave us a police escort. Driving up the canyon, I mean, it looked like Armageddon. It looked like the hell zone. Just house after house gone. I mean, not even like remnants, just like ashes. It's like the fire must have been so hot. There were some fireplaces standing. When we got to our friends Tom and Roseanne's house, everything was gone. Their cars, of course, were scorched. Some of the big trees actually up and down the canyon, in some places they were standing, so it's like the underbrush took off as we were going down the S curve. A couple of the houses on the creek side were up, most on the left were gone. On the straightaway, it was really spotty, one here, one there, most not there. When we went up past the covered bridge, which of course everybody knows is gone, up to Centerville, because that's the way we live, Castle Rock area looked devastated. I mean, there were a couple houses still standing. Couldn't see very far in to determine because it was so smoky out, so we couldn't tell. You know, we could get a better view because a lot of the shrubs were gone in some places, but you really couldn't see very far.
How did you find out that the fire was approaching your house? Was that Friday morning? I've forgotten.
I mean, actually, we just looked at the map. And one of the maps we looked at, we live right on the corner of Rich Bar Bridge and Quail Run.
This is when you first discovered the fire was approaching your house?
Oh no, on Thursday morning. Actually, it was about 6:30 in the morning, and I was looking outside. Ed and I were having breakfast, and I looked outside, and it was this incredible red sky. Beautiful, just gorgeous. And I said, gosh, Ed, it looks like, I didn't know we were having a weather change, red sky in the morning. Sailors take warning. And I thought, I didn't hear of any pending storms. But shortly thereafter, it just was getting brighter and brighter and red. I mean, I think I posted a picture on my Facebook, and I called one of our neighbors, and I said, what's going on? He says, it's a fire. So we just kind of hung out. This was like 6:30 in the morning. I went to work, just kind of waited. And I don't know what it was sometime around 10:30 or 11. I mean, it was bad. It was clear that it was a bad fire, but we've had fires before. Finally, we got the calls to evacuate.
So who did the call come from?
The sheriff's department, fire department, sheriff's. They sent in a text and then they call on the landline. And Ed had already put some of our documents, legal stuff in the car. Anyway, I took as much stuff as I could, pictures and vitamins, a few things, not many, because where do you draw the line? You just
I think passport,
home.
insurance papers.
Oh yeah, we took all that stuff. Yeah,
jewelry.
We took the jewelry.
Photographs.
A few. I mean, I have buckets and drawers full of. I just took a few, and a few clothes and my gym clothes, so I could come from the gym, and my vitamins, and left. And that was Thursday morning. Actually, then I went and sat down at the corner of Skyway and waited for like an hour and a half because I didn't want to leave, because I knew once I left I wouldn't be able to go back. And my son lives way up there, and I couldn't get a hold of him, so I just kind of wanted just to stay there. So, but he did make it out. He did make it out late that day. I think he didn't get any calls. He lives out of service, but he saw the fire burn his property in his cabin, and he made it out just in time. Lost everything.
Oh.
Everything. So, anyway, but when we went back on Friday, prayers were answered when our house was standing. Our entire little street, Friday morning, Quail Run Drive, all the houses were still standing. We lost a fence. For the people that live across the bridge, I heard 4 out of the 8 homes back there are gone.
South of you.
Across the bridge, across the creek from us.
So it's south.
Yeah, actually, it's technically east
Okay.
of us. The bridge is gone too. It's not impassable.
Why how did that happen? Did it just
it's
jump?
so bizarre. It must have just jumped because we own property on the other side of Quail Run as well. And, the fire came, it burned a bunch of the brush we had next to the house, next to our rock wall. Didn't really ruin the porch. I even had flowers still blooming, tomatoes in my garden. But then across the creek, all the brush was burned. It's almost like I don't understand. Fire is mysterious. But as of Friday, it was there, and kind of a miracle, really, given the devastation all around. But there are pockets. It's one house stands, the next one next to it, doesn't. So.
How did you feel when you first found out that your house made it?
Well, I cried. I was just overwhelmed, but I couldn't stay there. The police were there with us, so we couldn't stay. Ed got he got his banjos out because I forgot to take them. They're valuable to him, and anyway, we just secured, locked everything up, and left again.
How long?
But our friends Roseanne and Tom, they were down at their property. We dropped them off, went up, and went back to get them. I mean, that whole stretch is just, there are only a few houses left in that stretch of Honey Run.
How long do you think it will be before you could go back?
I really don't know. I mean, all the power, as we were driving, some people posted it, I'm not going to. There were fires, little fires everywhere on both sides of the street. Poles were still burning. I don't know how many poles are down. I would say 9 out of 10, if not 100%. It's going to take a while for them to, put up electricity or allow us to go back. If we get a generator, we probably can go back because what we need is water. We have a wood stove. And we can live with kerosene. It wouldn't be the first time in my life that I've lived off-grid. So we shall see, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon for any of us to go back. We tried getting back up there this morning with police escort. Again, they wouldn't hear of it. The fire trucks were going up there this morning, a whole row of them, because of the red flag wind warnings. And I know that it's jumped over to Cherokee again. I mean, it's only 25% contained as of this morning, what I heard last. So it's not good. I feel really grief-stricken, heartbroken, and it's just gut-wrenching. Not so much for us. I feel grateful we have a place to stay. Last report, my house is up, so I don't, but so many. It's tragic.
But it makes me think of all the refugees in Yemen and Syria who don't have the community to say, oh, come to the Bidwell Presbyterian Church on Tuesday and there'll be so many clothes and so much food and gift certificates. They have their starving babies starve.
Yeah. No, it's bad. And this community already had a housing shortage as it was. And now it's like that increases, it quadruples. I don't know what the percentage is, that it's that many more. And of course, a lot of people have lost their businesses, their jobs. Places, employees that worked at stores, they're gone up there. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I really do have faith and hope that we are going to rebuild. And also, some of the rules and regulations that we have in California, which is the most regulated state in the country, certainly as far as everything. But with building codes, maybe they will allow some, like maybe tent housing, some tiny housing. They will allocate some lands to rebuild in ways that are creative, are cutting edge, and have been not authorized by the code authorities.
I think straw brick houses and those kind of alternative construction materials are made to survive fires. Adobe is, brick is, absolutely. I mean, one of our neighbors down the road, the Ripner's house,
they have a stucco house, but they had built with foam, which is actually a really viable substance for insulation. And as we drove by it, I mean, it kind of like it just melted. And some of the stucco areas were still intact, but it just like melted. And you could see parts that, were burned out inside. But that's definitely not a way to go, the foam. You just gotta, and again, you do the best you can, and you can still get burned. I mean, obviously, the cabins, and without the clearing, but we saw a couple houses up in the canyon that had, one house specifically, that had a ton of clearing around it, completely flattened. The woman didn't have a tree anywhere near her. It was always kind of an odd sort of looking space, and it's gone. And then other places with stuff stayed, so it's hard to say. All I know is that everything is impermanent.
As the Buddha said.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel like less attached to anything material in a way, knowing that it's so impermanent?
This stuff doesn't, there are a few pieces that I thought, oh, but now for the most part, that doesn't trouble me as much as personally, but I'm not everybody. And what would trouble me if I lost my house, I suspected, would probably be my books, some of my books, and a couple of valuable paintings, a couple of my favorite shoes, and my Vitamix. Instapot maybe, but yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like.
That's great. So you're staying with friends, you're looking for a house to rent, and you're planning on being out of there for months, it sounds like.
Well, at least till, the end of this month. However long it gets them to let us go up there. I suspect that they'll let us go up there at some point once they have some of these spot fires more contained. I know this is a tiny thing, but we had some big ice blocks in our freezers. We have the cottage and the main house, and we had ice blocks. I mean, I just expect to find a lot of water, and I expect to find a mess, providing we have a house to go home to, which is not a big deal, but I wouldn't mind, I'd like to clear all that stuff out and get rid of all the science projects that are going to be in the fridge and, whatever. Providing, these are tiny little luxury thoughts that I have.
Right.
But I am hoping by the end of the month we'll be able to move back in. I'm hoping, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows right now.
Right. Anything else you want to say to your friends around the world who are watching this?
Oh, that we're well, that we're safe, that most of us are safe. There's still unaccounted for people.
Over 200.
And it's going to be impossible to tell for a long time because you can't, once you get melted in with steel, it's not good. So, I feel deeply grateful, deeply fortunate, blessed. And I want to figure out how we can help. We have a fairly large home and, and a garage and a cottage. So, of course, my son is going to be probably staying with us for a while. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
It's part of our destiny in this life to sort of be attached at the hip, it seems.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
Okay.